To explain myself properly, I'm going to divide the combat in two parts, offensive and defensive. The offensive part of the combat is obviously the one they got right. It gives the player tons of options, lots of basic attacks which you can use to make a lot of combos in many different ways, along with icon abilities and equipment for extra customization. It's very close to Devil May Cry 5, which is arguably the best hack and slash game. The defensive part of the combat, on the other hand, is very lacking. It mostly consists of timing the dodge button with an enemy attack to gain invincibility frames. There is also the jump button that also allows you to avoid some attacks, but that's pretty much it. There aren't enough movement options. Now let's take a look at Kingdom Hearts 2, which is the opposite of Final Fantasy 16. The offensive part of Kingdom Hearts 2 consists mainly of mashing the attack button. Almost all of the combos are being done automatically and your character moves towards the enemies, constantly following them while attacking. There are also a few other options like using magic and using the react command, but 90% of it is just mashing the attack button. The defensive part of its combat though is what makes it shine. There is still a button which you can time with the enemy attacks to avoid damage, the block button, and sometimes the react command functions similarly to the block button as well. And there is also the reflect magic, once again which is timed with enemy attacks, but it requires you to manage your mana while using it, and it can be used 3 times in a row like a combo spell. Besides that though, there are so many movement options that make the defensive combat really deep and allow the game to be an excellent platforming game besides an action RPG as well. There is double jump, dash, air dash, double dash, slow flying, fast flying, and you can even use magic while airborne to stay on air for a longer time. Now let's take a look at Devil May Cry 5, which is a game that combines the best of both parts. The offensive combat is extremely deep and allows you to do way more combos than Final Fantasy 16, and it even has 4 times more characters, and it doesn't even need any RPG mechanics. The defensive part of it is also excellent, similar to Kingdom Hearts 2, where you can do double jumps and triple jumps and fly and use all kinds of offensive moves, not just to deal damage, but to also move around and position yourself while you are simultaneously attacking the enemies and trying to be creative with your next moves. The game allows tons of playstyles which we can keep changing and experimenting, not only to find the most efficient ways of dealing with enemies, but to also have fun by the amount of freedom given to your character once you master your moveset. In Final Fantasy XVI, you do have a few movement options thanks to the icon abilities, but since the icon abilities have a long cooldown and deal way more damage than normal attacks, they are not meant to be used for positioning yourself. Another huge problem with Final Fantasy XVI is its difficulty. It's a very easy game. Once again, I'm going to compare it to Kingdom Hearts 2. So Kingdom Hearts 2, even though it's a game for all ages with lots of Disney characters, not only does it have a hard mode that would make children cry, it also has some of the best endgame boss fights I have seen in a video game. Final Fantasy XVI, on the other hand, never feels hard in any way. It doesn't even allow you to start on a hard mode, and once you beat the normal mode and unlock it, it still feels extremely easy, which is weird since it's a game for adults. Anyway, I heard the DLC is coming, and I hope Final Fantasy XVI gets the Kingdom Hearts 3 treatment, where the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 added a lot of super bosses, making it an extremely challenging game.